My name is Pamela Epps. Early intervention is my field of experience, but I'm planning to practice my behavior assessment skills in a school. Behavior assessment is an organized study and analysis of an individual's behavior with the use of different methods such as interviews, observation, self-report, psychophysiology, and direct supervision. I conduct a behavior assessment at my workplace to check how some workers perform their duties to achieve their objectives. The behavior assessment helped me know that some workers employ more positive behaviors than others, such as effective time management and efficient interaction with others to achieve objectives. Teachers are responsible for more than educating the learners. They're expected to ensure the safety of the learners, both in the classroom and on the school grounds. Disrupting the learner's behavior can lead to poor learning outcomes and safety issues. Therefore, a teacher requires tools that enable early intervention, prevention, and progress for learners showing disruptive behaviors. Lord et al. 2019. Behavior assessment can be conducted when learners show anxiety disorders, oppositional defiant disorders, manic depressive, and psychiatric conditions, since they can lead to several challenges. Vincent et al. 2019. One should conduct a behavior assessment in case a learner depicts some behavior changes in order to identify factors affecting the learner, including environmental, biological, or social. Wang et al. 2020. Behavior assessment should be conducted when the student's behavior interferes with the educational progress to find an early intervention to prevent the situation from escalating. A functional behavior assessment should be conducted whenever the individualized educational program, IEP for short, team needs more information to provide the appropriate educational programming. Also, when the IEP team notices that the behavior of the learner is interfering with their learning and the learning of others, Stagg et al. 2019. A behavior assessment can also be conducted when behavior violates the student's code of conduct, leading to placement change. Additionally, behavior assessment can be performed when a student is referred to law enforcement by the school. This is because the student's behavior is the reason they run into trouble in the school. Therefore, a teacher, to understand the challenge behavior of the learner, they are required to carry out the behavior assessment. Stagg et al. 2019. Furthermore, a behavior assessment can be carried out when a student is removed from current placement due to misconduct such as illegal drug or weapon possession or use. The functional behavior assessment could take up to 6 weeks, and that really depends on the behavior of the client and if the situation is an emergency or not. If it's an emergency, it could take a lot less time. Problem behaviors are behaviors that hinder the communication, social interaction, and learning, and cause harm to the learners, their families, their peers. Malona et al. 2019. Several factors constitute a problem behavior, such as family factors. Research shows that children from families with common arguments have a problem behavior pattern. Also, children raised in over-disciplined or not disciplined families may demonstrate problem behavior. Physical or psychological violence in families may also lead to problem behavior in children. Gershoff et al. 2018. Another factor is the mass media television and internet can significantly lead to problem behavior in children. Violent TV scenes or regular advertisement can primarily affect or cause problem behavior in children. School features, including physical and cultural, can also cause problem behavior in learners. Daring Hammond and Cook Harvey, 2018. For example, overpopulation in school can cause congestion in the classrooms, which may cause discomfort to the learner, and the learner may then develop a negative attitude towards school. Additionally, teacher-learner relations can cause problem behavior, especially if it's heading in the wrong direction. Functional analysis is a scientific way of trying to see the possible outcomes. It involves testing how particular changes affect the occurrence of problem behavior. Steg et al. 2019. Functional behavior enables one to determine the cause of the behavior, including attention, escape, and tangible, also sensory needs. Whereas the functional behavior assessment comprises various ways to learn about behavior by assessing and analyzing the behavior. The assessment process involves some steps including review of existing data, interview, behavior observation, and functional analysis. A functional analysis of behavior is primarily used for young children who cannot report verbally on their behavior. It also can be used on adults who are unable to understand the cause of their behavior. In a school setup, it can be conducted when the learner's behavior interferes with their learning or other learners. Stead et al. 2019. Conversely, FBA is used to identify and understand problem behaviors and develop possible solutions. Therefore, an FBA can be used when a learner is involved in trouble or involved in some type of trouble. The FBA team, including the teachers, students, family, and the school staff, led by a trained behavior specialist, BCBA, works on the FBA to find a way to intervene before the problem escalates. One of the components of the FBA is the multidisciplinary team established to determine the interfering behavior that a particular student is depicting. The team includes the learner, the student's teacher, a related service personnel, parents, and the paraprofessional working with the student. Another component is problem behavior. Members of the multidisciplinary team recognize the interfering behavior for the assessment and intervention. Interfering behavior includes all repetitive or disruptive behavior that affects optimal development of a learner's achievement. Additionally, the FBA components include baseline data collected from various sources to understanding the interfering behavior to design an intervention strategy. The next component is the hypothesis statement based on the assessment outcomes and sufficiently describes the behavior. Hypothesis testing is another important component of the FBA to ensure that it is correct and effective. The other component is the intervention, in which the multidisciplinary team will develop interventions to try to curb the occurrence of the problem behavior or the target behavior. Lastly, the intervention behavior is monitored to ensure its effectiveness. Early identification of a student's problem behavior is essential to determine the best intervention method to curb the behavior before it escalates. The best tool for handling the problem behavior is completing a functional behavior assessment. Problem behaviors primarily have a negative impact on the academic performance of the student. It also creates a problem with family and the support that they're getting from the teacher or the paraprofessional, leading to a negative outcome. Furthermore, the FBA is important as it helps identify replacement behaviors, or the interfering ones, or the problem behaviors, or target behaviors if you want to use that term. Also, it helps in understanding the reason the learner misbehaves. Thank you for looking at my PowerPoint, and these are my references. Thank you.